Hit the like and subscribe button, Reflections. You are over here with Terethia. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, because it lets the rest of my crew members know that I am officially over here talking about greatness. Reflection. We talking about greatness, okay? We are here talking about Miss Dorothy. Now, for everyone who don't know who Miss Dorothy is, she was actually one of the first black actors to actually appear on television with a all black cast. Reflection, okay? Now, a lot of people have a lot to say about Miss Dorothy and her tragic end. Okay, a lot of people have a lot of different things to say about that. Now you have to remember, Reflection, everything in this video is alleged. This is shit we heard. All right, so with that being said, definitely pick up what you need to and go do your own research. All right, so with that being said, I'm not here to waste your time. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we are about to get started. Let me turn that music down in my spaceship. Okay, get your roll up, get your power up, because we are officially talking about greatness. We are talking about Miss Dorothy. All right. Now, for a lot of people who are new to the crew, before there were Hollywood parties, there was Miss Dorothy, okay? And there was a lot of controversy concerning Miss Dorothy. And we're gonna talk about that throughout this video, all right? Keep in mind, she was one of the first black actresses, Reflection, excuse me, one of the first black actresses to appear on television with the all black cast. So the times that she was actually trying to do this, Reflection, she was receiving a lot of backlash. She was receiving a lot of racism. A lot of places that she went and she sung at, she couldn't even eat from their, Reflection. Okay, so you can think that it was those times. All right, so we are talking about Hollywood back when. All right, so with that being said, I'm not here to waste your time. Let's get started.
But Dorothy, you're the first to play here. You're the first.
My baby, that's the end of you.
Never know it. She is powerful and so stunning.
What would you like to know?
I want a scat hat with a trim brim, a zag zag with a rip zip. I want a brown gown with a lop top with a hip flip, a lace waist.
Dorothy Dandridge, in her relatively brief life, achieved notable milestones such as being the inaugural black woman nominated for a Best Actress Oscar and gracing the cover of Life magazine as the first black woman. Despite her accomplishments, she faced internal struggles vividly depicted in her insightful and often witty autobiography. Everything and Nothing, The Dorothy Dandridge Tragedy, co-authored with Earl Conrad and published in 1970, 5 years after her untimely demise. Within the eloquent prose, Dandridge candidly explores her quest for love, describing herself as akin to a haunted house. If it is possible for a human being to be like a haunted house, she writes, maybe that would be me. Her poignant narrative reveals a reliance on pills and champagne to alleviate pain, yet the haunting persisted until her accidental overdose in 1965 at the age of 42. In his biography of Dorothy Dandridge, Donald Bogle describes racism as having aborted Dandridge's career. From a young age, Dorothy traveled the country, performing in nightclubs, and she was regularly exposed to racism, blatant and subtle. Throughout her life, Dorothy Dandridge was booked to perform in venues where she would not have been allowed to visit as a patron because of her race. Often she would perform at hotels but not be allowed to stay there as a guest. Sometimes it was a struggle to find her a place to have dinner or spend the night. At some venues, she was forbidden to speak with the patrons that she performed for. Dandridge's romantic life was chaotic and fraught, including her affairs with white actor Peter Lawford and white director Otto Preminger. Both relationships were kept secret because interracial relationships were still considered taboo. At one time, feared Hollywood gossip columnist Hedda Hopper published a scathing article about Dandridge dancing with a white co-star, claiming this would lead to race riots. As stated in Donald Bogle's biography, Dorothy would go on to write an eloquent response condemning discrimination, but was unable to name Hopper for fear of retaliation. At 17, Dorothy Dandridge had been performing for more than 70% of her life. She had years of stage experience, but was struggling more than ever with live performance. As described by Vanity Fair, many of Dandridge's live performances were in nightclubs, and she was increasingly frustrated by the male patrons that flocked to her shows demanding her attention. Behind the scenes, Dorothy Dandridge endured distressing mistreatment, particularly under the management of Geneva Williams, who retained control of the Dandridge sisters. This aspect is illuminated in a documentary from Biography, wherein it is revealed that Williams, cognizant of the allure Dorothy held for men, undertook measures to suppress Dandridge's sex. Prior to performances, Williams resorted to binding Dorothy's chest in an effort to conceal her bust, underscoring the extent to which societal norms and expectations manifested in the management of Dandridge's public image, adding an additional layer of complexity to her professional experiences. Exhibiting a high degree of control, Geneva Williams, notably assertive in managing Dorothy Dandridge's affairs, extended her influence into Dandridge's personal relationships. During a tour in England, an incident unfolded where Williams, disbelieving Dandridge's claim of maintaining her virginity, sought to subject her to a physical examination, employing force in the process. In a moment of resistance, the teenage Dorothy managed to overpower Williams, delivering a forceful blow that brought Williams to the ground. This marked a decisive moment, as Williams refrained from further mistreatment thereafter. Upon their return to the United States, Dorothy Dandridge opted to part ways with the trio, embarking on a solo career that would shape her trajectory as an independent artist. After Dorothy Dandridge married her fiancé Harold Nicholas, she had planned on being a full-time wife and mother. When the child, named Harolyn Nicholas, was 2 years old, she began to show signs of brain damage. According to a close friend of Dandridge, interviewed for a 1998 documentary, Harolyn never seemed to recognize her mother or father. Doctors told Dandridge that Harolyn had a lack of oxygen at birth, and the effects would be permanent. As noted by Vanity Fair, Dandridge believed that this was due to the fact that she had waited several hours to go to the hospital after noticing labor pains, because she had wanted Nicholas, who had taken the car to play golf, to take her to the hospital. The struggle to care for their daughter put strain on the marriage, and they ultimately divorced. She'd hug me tight, crushing into...
All right, Reflection, hit the like and subscribe button. So everyone who is new to the crew and don't know who we're talking about, we're over here talking about Miss Dorothy, one of the first black actresses to ever do it, Reflection. Okay. But even though she was one of the first black actresses to ever do it, she received a lot of backlash. And not only that, Hollywood gave her a very hard time. Not only did they give her a hard time, it was said that when she would go to certain places, Reflection, and perform, and she wanted to get in the pool or just put her feet in the pool, after she would do that, they would actually drain the pool. Listen to what I said. They would drain the pool, Reflection, and scrub it and fill it back up. And not only would they scrub it, they would have people that look like Miss Dorothy to scrub those pools, Reflection. So imagine going and performing at a place, and you afterwards you just want to chill out, put your feet in the pool, and you go to your room trying to come back down, and the whole pool has been emptied and they're scrubbing it to fill it back up. Hit the like and subscribe button. We over here talking about the life of Miss Dorothy.
Did you know that Dorothy Dandridge had a daughter? This is the tragic story of Harolyn Suzanne Nicholas. While working at the Cotton Club, Dorothy met Harold Nicholas, a dancer and entertainer. They married in 1942, but they had a very unhappy marriage, which deteriorated because of Harold's womanizing. On September 2nd, 1943, Dorothy Dandridge gave birth to her only daughter, Harolyn Suzanne Nicholas. While Dorothy was in labor, Nicholas left her stranded at her sister-in-law's home without the car, and he went to play golf. At first, Dorothy refused to go to the hospital without him, but she eventually agreed. Harolyn's delayed birth required the use of forceps, which may have been the cause of her lifelong brain damage that left her in constant care. Dorothy blamed herself for her daughter's condition, and Harolyn was unable to speak and never recognized Dorothy as her own mother. She doesn't even know that I'm her mother, Dorothy said. She only knows that she likes me and I like her, and she feels warmth, and that I'm a nice person. Dorothy didn't publicly speak about her daughter's condition until an interview in 1963. She said, "My daughter had a brain injury at birth. I could sense that something was wrong when she was about 2 years old. It's believed that Harolyn..."
All right, Reflection, hit the like and subscribe button. So yes, she did. Keep in mind, they said that she was allegedly found due to a drug overdose in her apartment. But Reflection, she struggled with a lot, not only with allegedly these Hollywood parties. Keep in mind, it was said that Miss Dorothy, her place would be the place to go to for what we call today those after parties, Reflection. We know what goes down at those after parties. Back then, they were called those black ball parties, because certain celebrities would actually go over there thinking they're having a good time, and the whole time they are being recorded. This isn't anything new. When I tell you nothing is new under the sun, Reflection, nothing is new under the sun. Hit the like and subscribe button.
Dorothy Dandridge got scammed severely during her second marriage. In October of 1954, Dorothy Dandridge's life was complicated. On one hand, her latest project, Carmen Jones, was released that month in theaters, and this role was great for her career. She became the first actress to be put on the cover of Life magazine. Her portrayal of Carmen Jones earned her the honor of being the first black actress to be nominated for Best Actor in a Leading Role by the Academy. But on the other hand, she had just walked away from an affair she was having with the director of that movie, Otto Preminger, after finally coming to terms with the fact that he wasn't going to leave his wife and being forced to terminate their baby. In November, she had a performing gig at the Riviera in Las Vegas. Jack Dennison, the vice president of the hotel, saw her nightclub act and said he was mesmerized by her beauty. He introduced himself, tried to shoot his shot, and Dorothy was pretty cordial, but again, she had literally just gotten out of a relationship, if you will call it that, with the man that she actually loved. So she wasn't really trying to take it anywhere but a hi, hello, nice to meet you. But that didn't stop Jack. He sent flowers to her dressing room every single night during her contract. And he also made sure she was, secured and safe during her time at the hotel. In a later interview, Dorothy said it took her 6 to 8 months to give this man a chance. Her words was, just because somebody's sending you flowers every day doesn't mean their motives are right. Correct. As they began talking, Dandridge learned more about Jack, like his multiple investments in casinos, his large sum of money saved up in his latest venture, which was a dining nightclub. He told Dorothy that if they ever got married, he would want her to stop working in Hollywood because he wanted to provide for her. And he felt that a loving and protecting husband more than compensated for whatever Hollywood would give her. And she didn't, oppose this idea. Dorothy declined his first few proposals, but in June of 1959, they finally tied the knot. And this is where shit immediately got weird. So it's said that Dorothy sedated herself just to get through the ceremony. They didn't have a reception. It was just a dinner for the two of them. And then at the dinner, Dorothy fell asleep. So the pheromones were very high. After the dinner, the newlyweds flew to New York to honeymoon. But it was also work because Dorothy had to attend the premiere for her latest movie, Porgy and Bess, also directed by Otto Preminger. And I'm sure Dorothy was probably thinking at this point, this is one of my last major working gigs for some time. I can refocus my energy because for the last few years, she had been grinding, not just as a black actress trying to provide for herself, but she also had a 16-year-old daughter from her first marriage that was born with brain damage. So she required full-time care, and Dorothy had her in a private hospital to be taken care of because she didn't want her in a public institute. But she wasn't getting help from her ex-husband, so she had to come up with these funds on her own, which kept her constantly working. So again, I'm sure now she thought I can refocus my energy, spend more time with my daughter, work on my marriage, but she wouldn't be kicking back anytime soon. During the honeymoon, Jack came clean about who he really was. For starters, he wasn't the vice president of the Riviera. He was the maitre d', so basically the vice president of the hostess stand. Second, he didn't have as much money saved up as he led Dandridge on to believe, and he needed help funding and opening up his restaurant. And I'm sure her face was just like, what the fuck? And you gotta think, she can't necessarily just divorce him because at this point, you don't know, he might try to get a bunch of money out of me because it seemed like he trapped me, is probably what she was thinking. Versus if she stays with him and helps him fund this restaurant, he gonna get money too. So at this point, it's like, which one am I giving less money? And so she went with helping him fund this restaurant. When Dorothy and Dennison married, she was making about $250,000 a year. That's $2.6 million today's money. After saying them vows, she ain't never seen that much money again for the rest of her life. So Dorothy sinks 6 figures into helping Jack open up Jack Dennison's Copper Cart. Then Jack asks her, hey, do you mind being a performer at the restaurant, to help draw people in? At this moment, she knew she fucked up, but his plan didn't work. Dorothy tried, to be supportive to her new husband, but she just didn't have as much of a draw as she used to, and this caused the restaurant to take a major financial cut because she was the main attraction. Jack Dennison's Copper Cart was a financial disaster and had to be sold within a year of the marriage. Dennison is said to become very verbal and physically abusive during this time. And Dorothy got heavy into pills and drinking. She already had been dabbling in it, but during this time, she went overboard. It got dangerous. And after 3 years married, the couple divorced.
When she divorced him, he asked for half of everything that she had. He wanted half of the sheets, half of the silver, half of the pillow cases, half of everything, half of the blankets. And you know how he divided it? He took a scissors and went through and cut them in half.
In a Jet magazine interview shortly after the divorce, Jack said that he made enough money to sustain 2 people very well. The issue was that the average person could live off of $600, $700, $800 at the time. Their living fees were up to $2,000 plus. But I'm like, Jack, didn't you know that before you married this woman? Dorothy was falling apart. She discovered that the people who were handling her finances had swindled her out of $150,000, and she owed the IRS up to $139,000 in back taxes. She had to sell her Hollywood home and move into a smaller apartment, and her daughter was returned to her after she missed 2 consecutive payments, leaving Dorothy to send her daughter to a state institution, which she despised, but she didn't have much of another choice. And it got so low that she had to file for bankruptcy. Now, this is the end of part 1, but if you come back for part 2, we gonna circle back to her first marriage. Listen.
Hit the like and subscribe button, Reflectionist. I told y'all it's a thin line between love and hate. He went and got some scissors and he wanted half of shit. Then you didn't want half, you just didn't want her to have it. You just didn't want her to have it. My thing is this, I'm like, what you call, was you in the jam shoot with her? Was you on the stage, baby, when Dorothy was twizzling and twirling and shit? I just want to know, Reflection.
This is part 7 of the Dorothy Dandridge series. Fasten your seatbelts because I have discovered something very disturbing. Since I've been researching her death has never set right with me. And I have pegged 3 men to be involved in her death. But I narrowed it down to 2. Here we go. First, I suspected Otto Preminger because he was jealous after she started dating other men. He started getting jealous and started calling her all kind of B words and N words as much as he could. He was married and had another child on the way. And eventually, I think he let go. So that narrows him out. I thought about the husband. He got upset about her getting married, but he was a womanizer. So to him, it was nothing to have a pretty woman like Dorothy, but there was nobody beautiful in this woman. But then I found something else. This Jack Dennison guy that she was married to. Come to find out, his name isn't even Jack Dennison. And he was a Canadian Greek guy. Everything that you try to look him up on, every media site that you try to look him up on, you can't find him. It is blacked out. I've looked. You can go and look yourself. The guy's real name is John DeMetterlin. Him and Dorothy's agents swindled her out of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Here's where I get mad at her. Because I know she was naive and very friendly. But I believe she left this dude on her insurance policy because that damn suicide letter makes no sense. It was rushed. I'll read it to you. In case of my death, don't remove anything I have on. Scarf, gown, or underwear. Cremate me immediately or right away. If I have any money or furniture, give it to my mother, Ruby Dandridge. She will know what to do. Somebody forced her to write this letter. And I'm telling you right now, somebody forced her to write this letter. Because her and her mother was beefing. And doesn't the husband supposed to get her final say-so and everything? And why would she want to be rushed to be cremated? That don't make sense. Trying to avoid an autopsy. And it probably wouldn't matter back then because this was a black woman. This dude used her deficiencies and turned them into his strengths and had this woman killed.
Hit the like and subscribe button. Remember, all this shit is alleged. We just putting paint where it ain't there. He just got them glasses doing his research and shit, Reflection. So keep in mind, they said that Dorothy actually had a problem with prescription pills. And, you know, she had not only Hollywood on her back. Imagine going to a place, Reflection, and you're performing and you can't even eat from that place. You can't get nothing to drink. Shit, I'm thirsty. I can't even get nothing to drink. I put my foot in the pool. Your ass drained in the damn pool. Not only that, Reflection, she also had her own guilt about her daughter. She had her own guilt about her daughter. She felt like it was her fault that her daughter did not know who she was, Reflection. Okay, so just imagine all of that. But a lot of people concerning her death, they was like, I hear what you're saying, but I don't see her as being suicidal. Now, some people saying it was suicide due with the note. Other people are saying it was just an accidental drug overdose. But keep in mind, she was allegedly found in the hallway. Some people said she had clothes on. Most people said that she didn't have any Reflection. And we know strange shit happen in Hollywood. We know strange things happen in Hollywood. But let's go back 1 second. Think about when they had said that, think about, you know how they say in Hollywood, you know, when you get to a certain level, It don't matter what girlfriend or wife you had. We got somebody new for you, babe. We got somebody new that's from the circle. You think you don't know they from the circle allegedly, but they're definitely from the circle. Reflection, okay? And what do you think about that man actually coming in and helping swindle her out of her money allegedly? Reflection, okay? It seems like he was on a mission. I keep telling you, it's a very thin line between love and hate. We are on the planet of illusions. So do you think that he was actually sent in? Reflection, do you think it was an accident that this man, after they divorced, he wanted everything? Do you think that was his agenda from the jump? Okay, Reflection, hit the like and subscribe button. Keep in mind, we know divorces can be very nasty, but at the same time, I don't believe in coincidences. But drop in the comments and let me know what you think.
Man, I'm going to say it again. Nobody on the planet that ever lived was more beautiful than this woman. She had her demons, and I'm about to get into it. This is part 2 of the Dorothy Dandridge story. So I told you she was pregnant from this Harold Nicholas cat. Now, she waiting on him to get home. It's time to have the baby. It's 1943. It's time to have the baby. So she did not want to have the baby until he got there. But old boy was out there B-eyesing, whatever he was doing. And ended up, she had to take a cab or a neighbor to run her to the hospital and wanted to postpone the labor until he got there. The baby ended up being born with brain damage, and they discovered this when she was 2 years old. She wasn't up to speed with the rest of the kids. And they discovered this when she was 2 years old. But I have another theory on that. It's due to that, and plus the lack of support that black women had back then as far as doctor care was concerned. Let me tell you how much of a coward he was. So after a couple of years go by, he done realized that the baby was going to be born brain damaged and with a disability. So he going to up and leave them, leaving all the bills on her. This dude's a coward. I don't care if you like him or not. And if he was alive, I'd tell him to his face. Sticks my queen with all these medical bills. She broke now. Dude's such a coward. There are going to be a lot of women that are men that have treated her wrong throughout this series. He knew this. He married her just to get her away from their no good lesbian stepmother that was sticking her fingers into her and her sisters to see if they were still virgins. Man, come on, bro. But some way, somehow, Queen bounced back. Started landing jobs in these nightclubs, singing and performing. In some kind of way, she started getting her movie swag on. Somebody seen it, picked Queen up, and stuff started happening again for her. Started dating so many different genres of men because she said black men failed her. And you did. We failed her. We failed her. Part 3 coming up next. You don't want to miss.
All right, Reflection. Remember, everybody has their opinions about this. Some people feel certain type of ways about her, about the choice of men that she had. But think about it, Reflection. Without having a testimony, you have to go through tests. You have to experience to know what to do. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe you get what I'm saying. So I really don't just hold that to her choice of men, Reflection, because you got to remember, we're on a planet of illusions. A smiling face is nothing but a frown turned upside down. And think about how she was willing to help some of these men that she was actually with, and for them to all turn around and won't have for her shit. Reflection, did you hear what I just said? Hit the like and subscribe button.
This is part 8 of the Dorothy Dandridge series. Y'all asked for it. We're bringing it. Let's go. So after she's been forced to sell her house, this bum leaves her and heads back to Canada, wherever he went. They drop off her daughter to her. She's still mentally incompetent at age 19 because she missed 2 payments. She missed 2 payments of child care. I seen she owed 139 racks to somebody. One of her investments was ripped off for 150 racks. On top of all that, she had to apply for bankruptcy, file for bankruptcy. Do you see the one thing that's not coming to fruition? She has nobody, no family. After they done used her up, there's no family around. How do we go from making $75K to only having $2 in your account? What really makes you cry is the fact that her daughter, mentally unstable, had to be awarded back to the state, to a mental institution, where she died at age 60 in 2003, I think April 16th, if I ain't mistaken. And nobody was there, man. Nobody was there to claim her, or nobody was there to identify her body, bruh. Had no family, just like her mother. Nobody came for her, man. That hurts, bro. That hurts right here. And for that bum that was in the comments on part 7, talking about, I can't prove none of this. Well, neither can you. You can't prove what y'all are saying happened. Y'all had her killed, just like you have done in the past, present, and future. Because y'all know this was the takeover. Y'all probably seen how many of these white guys she was dating, and some of you ladies probably got mad. I'm not fixing to have this broad, my husband, looking at this black broad. Just like Phyllis Hyman, the suicide note was so eerie to how she died. I'm tired. I'm so tired. Those of you that love me know who you are. Those of you that I love know who you are. And if it didn't happen the way we say it's happening, explain why she was dead. When she died, she was naked. She was already showered, perfumed up, getting ready to go to an event in New York. I'm going to say it again. The crime scene was staged, and she was forced to write that letter. And if you don't like it, you know where to find me.
Hit the like and subscribe button. He said when you find him, he just trying to talk. We don't condone violence over here. Shut your mouth, keep on talking. But reflection, that never did sit right with me. Either with me doing my research about this, I was like, wait a minute. It didn't seem like, you get what I'm saying? She got fully dressed. She had an event to go to. She looked like she made, you get what I'm saying, was trying to get a little, whatever, before she went to her event. But some people were saying it was bad drugs. Some people were saying it was bad drugs. Reflection. Now keep in mind, let's go back through Hollywood, because we know reflection, all this shit is alleged, though we just thinking hypothetically. We know about the bad Uggs that have went around in Hollywood. Think about all the overdoses and shit. Keep in mind, reflection, the stories really are the same. If you look throughout history with these stars, the story is the same. So what do you think about her daughter not having nobody to claim her? Keep in mind, this woman was worth plenty of money. She was worth plenty of money. And then in the end, all she had left was $2. Come on now, reflection. Do you not think, again, I ask you, do you think that husband was sent in? Do you think he was sent in, reflection? Okay. Because it seemed like after him, she went down, reflection. Like literally, he was sent in to financially drain her. So what do you think about that? And what do you think about the letter? Okay, because we got to look at every side of the box. What do you think about this letter, this suicide letter that was wrote? Okay, reflection. Keep in mind, we have seen certain things where people do stage people to write letters. This isn't anything unknown. Okay, so listen, what do you think about it? We're not saying much, but we definitely are saying something. We're saying something don't seem right with this shit. Something did not seem right with this shit, because keep in mind, she had an event that she was already dressed to go to.
Part 4 of the Dorothy Dandridge series. It's going to make you cry. So let me get back on to her no good mama. And yeah, I said it. How her mother betrayed them again. So I went and dipped a little bit deeper and tried to find out what happened with the father. I tried to find out why he abandoned them. And I know what I found? He didn't abandon them. She left. She abandoned him. She abandoned him to be with her lesbian lover, and no disrespect to anybody. She kept telling the daughters lie after lie, saying after they asked, why doesn't daddy want us? She kept saying, he don't want you. He's partial to his mother and would rather be with his mother. Now, Mr. Cyril was a preacher, an introvert, and somebody that was very quiet and soft-spoken. So it was easier for her to take over him. This man searched high and low for his little girls. He died searching for his daughters that she kept away from him. Had he been in her life, he would have taught her what to look out for. She'd been in 11 documented failed relationships because she didn't have her father figure, her dad, in her life. You caused that, Miss Ruby Dandridge. You were the reason for that one. She would have been able to look out for the likes of people like Otto Preminger, who used her for sex to get what he wanted. And when she started to get pregnant from him, oh, we can't do that, you're black. But he goes off and let the other woman get pregnant. He told her if she would have got pregnant from him, or if she did get pregnant from him, she would have to lose it. But there's another woman out here pregnant from you, and you're married, bruh. But soon as she started dating other people, and she met you on the set of the Porgy and Bess movie with Sidney Poitier, you gets mad and start calling her all type of N-words and calling her all kind of stupid B's. There was no answer to this beauty. Not a woman alive was beautiful, more beautiful than this woman, but she had demons. Just one of the reasons is because she did not have a father figure, and y'all took that.
Now hit the like and subscribe button. Reflection, I can't fully agree with that, but everybody got their opinion and we here to listen. I don't know if a father figure was 100% the reason for the season, because we know people with father figures, and reflection, everybody has their own free will. Everybody has their journey to walk. Does having a father figure, I think, help you with what to look out for? Of course it does. Reflection, keep in mind your father is the first man that's the first man that you will ever experience. Okay, that's the first divine masculine that you will ever experience. For the people who do, you get what I'm saying, have their father in their life, whether it's a good experience or whether it's a bad experience. That is the very blueprint of divine masculine experience that you will have throughout this journey. Okay, so I don't know if I all the way agree with that. Okay, but keep in mind we have to hear everybody's opinion.
I've seen people comparing how much Dorothy Dandridge looks like Doja Cat, and some people say I look like Doja Cat. Girl, shut up! But while we're on the subject, let me introduce you to the iconic performer, Dorothy Dandridge.
Born to another actress, Dorothy was pushed into show business at a very young age.
She traveled in a dance act with her sister all over the country, but soon she pulled a Beyonce and went solo and started performing in more venues by herself. And people loved her. They were so attracted to her and her energy, but most of the time whenever she would perform at venues or restaurants, she wouldn't even be allowed to eat or drink because of segregation.
Oh wait, what a night.
Do you mind if I can get a drink?
No, Negro.
No. How you gonna ask me to perform but I can't get a drink? White man.
Dorothy continued to capture audiences in many iconic films.
One of the most iconic ones was Carmen, which is a film adaptation of an opera, and she brought so much energy to this role that she became the first black woman to be nominated for an Academy Award.
Now don't go yet, but this where the bullshit comes in.
Although Dorothy was a star, the industry of Hollywood and her personal life gave her struggle. She had a daughter, but she suffered brain damage, and she had a husband who was a womanizer and eventually left the family. And after Carmen, Hollywood took a look at Dorothy's black skin and only wanted to cast her in very demeaning roles, and Dorothy rarely accepted them. Dorothy ended up passing away from drug overdose at 42 years old, but this does not take away from the fact that she heavily influenced Hollywood. Dorothy recognized that she was
And Dorothy said, baby, you ain't finna have me in no monster ball position. In monster ball when Halle Berry was, you get what I'm saying, reflection. She said, Dorothy said,
When Halle Berry starred in the movie introducing Dorothy Dandridge in 1999, she said that many times she felt overcome by the spirit of Dorothy. And when Halle borrowed this original gown worn by Dorothy on the Ed Sullivan Show, she found that her spirit was still very much attached to it. Dorothy Dandridge was one of the first African-American movie stars and the very first African-American woman to be nominated for Best Actress Academy Award. And after Halle Berry brought her gown home, things got weird. Lights would flicker inside the home, doors would be found unlocked and open, and a chair was heard dragging itself across the bedroom floor. Halle kept the gown covered in plastic to protect it. One evening, she heard a crackling sound, and it was the gown moving inside the plastic bag. Right after that incident, she returned the gown.
Baby, I would have been returned that gown when the chair and shit started moving across the floor. Reflection. Well, listen, when the chair started scooting across the floor, I would have said, Dorothy, you finna get your ass up out of here. I know that. I know some spirits when I see one. I know. Listen, hit the like and subscribe button. Reflection for everybody who didn't go see that movie. I think the name of it was Carmen Jones, and Halle Berry actually did she wore the same dress in everything. Reflection, keep in mind, in Hollywood, I don't know why, but in Hollywood, this isn't the first time people are saying that they have wore the deceased clothes. Reflection, and they feel certain spirits come over their ass. Now, keep in mind, Carmen Jones is actually a movie that Dorothy is well known for. So if you haven't went and seen the movie, definitely go and check it out. Reflection, okay? So with that being said, definitely go do your own research into Miss Dorothy. Until next time, Ashe.